Dante. Sweet kid. No. Dante! You know how it is. Dad not around. Mom and twin brother brutally murdered by demons. You know, that sort of thing.
Hey, Enzo. How have you been?
I could do better, to tell you the truth.
The trick is not to buckle under the pressure.
Huh?
So my last job, the one you gave me, it turned out to be a setup. So you're saying you only sent me into a trap because a demon that looks like a giant rabbit tricked you into doing it?
Just give it up, Dante. It's over. And all you had to do was fight a baby for it.
And my own brothers. Just as long as I don't have to care.
I know.
Sure, they have their boots on our necks, but we need to buckle down and think positive.
Your brother. Talk about digging up the past, huh? You all right, kid? So, you and me, we're all good now, yeah?
Before we get started, I just want to allow my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves, basically tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do, and also tell us your top 2 favorite Christmas movies. And
holy tomatoes, man. That's a lot. I feel like I'm being interrogated. Hey, man, I'm Chris Coppola. I'm an actor. I've been an actor for kind of a long time, and I'm a character actor. So if you don't recognize me, I've sort of done my job. The less recognizable, the better for me. So let's see. Favorite. So there's already a loaded question with me, man, because favorite two Christmas movies. So I'm in one. I'm in Polar Express. And I play the Toothless boy. Now, that's not voiceover, people. That's mocap, motherfucker. I was running around in a wetsuit. I looked like a goddamn pear in a sock. And I acted out that movie for 2.5 months because it was the beginning of what mocap might be, right, in movies. Now it's sort of a normal thing, but we were like the first movie, like it was video game technology, I believe. And then they were like, hey, let's make a whole movie of this. And Bob Zemeckis was like, let's make a movie about this and let's do Polar Express. And so yeah, Polar is one of my favorite movies. And they intended to make a Christmas classic, and they did. And at first, I don't know if you guys are you're young enough to remember, but when it first came out, people did not like how weird the people looked. Like they were like, it's too close to reality, but it looks freaky. It doesn't look real enough. And now it's sort of, I think everyone's acclimated to what it looks like, and absolutely loves it. So I'm stoked and very, very proud to be a part of that movie. I'm sure when I die, that'll be the thing they mention first. So hopefully I'll get a bigger credit than that. But it's a good one to be a part of. And then let's see, my other one. I mean, everyone's going to say Elf, so I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go with Arthur's Christmas. Arthur's Christmas. Is it Arthur's? Is it plural? Or yeah, I think it's Arthur's Christmas. And I just sort of got turned on to that one by my daughter. And I just like the heritage of Santa. I like the generational stuff of Santa. I like the hijinks that the old Santa gets the younger Arthur into. And I like how there's this sort of nepotism going on in the film where the type A personality brother looks like he's the one that's going to get the job, but really it comes down to those old-fashioned values of, love and caring and compassion, and that's what Christmas is really about. And I love, a lot of movies get to those values, but this movie really gets to it in a really beautiful way. So those are my 2.
That's funny you picked that. The way you kind of described that second movie kind of sounds like a plot in Naruto that I'm going through right now, where you have the father has to choose between 2 kids who's going to be his successor, and he chooses the younger one because he's more about love and stuff like that, and where the older one was more about strength and stuff. So
right,
that's interesting. And I've never seen that, so I'm definitely going to check out.
Yeah, check it out, man. When you have a kid, they make you, that's her favorite jam right now. So when Christmas is here, I think I probably watched it 3 times this year. And I was picking the lesser of 2 evils at one point. I'm like, put that one on again, please. So anyhow, those are my 2.
For my 2, I chose, the classic Home Alone. I think everybody watch Home Alone during Christmas. one of the best movies. I think the first and second ones are classic. I've
Yeah.
tried the other ones they've tried to do with the other, I think different kids and different ones. They're okay. They just don't have the same feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, the great thing about Home Alone is it's not trying to be a Christmas movie, and yet it is a Christmas movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It is a Christmas movie, but they're not hitting you over the head with it, right?
Yeah.
It's more about the experience he's having and the dangers he's going through and the perils of the guys trying to get into his house. And I just think that it doesn't overshadow Christmas. It just makes it a sort of a backseat driver, and then they just sort of flip it on us, and then it's like Christmas right in our face. And that's the thing I love about that first one.
It's more like Christmas is more of the background, and we still got the whole plot. Where I think the plot is more of a boy coming of age story, where he's kind of becoming a man type of thing. Where everybody then left, and now he has to take over. I
was going to throw you with a curveball and say Die Hard, but I mean, then there's a whole podcast on arguing about that one.
Man, I would have had to argue a little bit because I don't know if I would have necessarily said Christmas movie, but I can see maybe how you can say that. Well, anything could be a Christmas movie if you watch it during Christmas.
All you gotta do is put a Christmas tree in it.
For my second one, I chose This Christmas. It's one of my favorite classic Christmas movies. It's one of those old black Christmas movies, if you ever see it.
I haven't seen it in forever though.
Oh, it's amazing. It has the This Christmas song sung by Chris Brown is amazing. I listen to it every year. It's almost up there with, Mariah Carey's famous song.
Oh yeah, her one that she bought her 3 houses, I'm sure.
Man,
she's gonna buy her another house this year. And it literally starts playing November 1st.
If it's still ringing, I'm gonna keep playing it. Like
ding, 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 ding. That little sound. It's like beautiful bells.
That's how you know it's Christmas time. You be
it's all gonna go down right there.
Jumping into our interview, for my first question I wanted to ask you was basically, what made you want to pursue a career in acting, and when did voice acting become one of your main focuses?
Sure. So I backed into both, right?
Okay.
I literally just sort of backed into them. So I sort of always knew I wanted to get into acting, but I mean, I think part of the big deal about getting into acting is having the courage to do it, right? There's a lot of stuff you got to step into and have the balls to just go for it. So I didn't really have that courage. And, in high school, I was more of a jock, played football, basketball, did all that kind of stuff. Got into college, registered, and got through college to my last year. So it's senior year of college. And I registered for a class that I thought was basically we were going to watch movies and critique them. And it was basically acting 101. And I was like, oh, no, this is not for me, to the professor. And he goes, look, man, just memorize this monologue, come back next Tuesday and do it. And if you hate it, I'll help transfer you. And if you love it, you can stay. I said, okay. So I did my best to memorize it over a week. It was this would take me about 15 minutes to memorize now, like that much. That took me all week. And I went through it, and it was horrible, but I had the best time of my life. I was scared shitless, and it was just an eye-opening thing. I contemplated, because then what happened was I did that, and because they didn't really have guys like me in the theater program, right? They didn't have any like guys, right? They had like guys that had been doing theater since they were in high school, since they were in junior high. And then there's this dude that comes in who used to play football, who drank beers and smashed beer bottles on his head kind of attitude. It was just kind of crazy. And all of a sudden I got like the spring lead in the show at Cal State Long Beach. And I loved theater so much that when I graduated, I moved to San Francisco. I was going to school at Long Beach State. Moved to San Francisco, got a job with George Lucas at ILM.
Okay.
And while I was working at ILM, I was studying acting at night. And then after about a few years at ILM, and I sort of had an opportunity then at ILM to either like become a full-time employee, and like they were getting ready to do the new Star Wars. They were gearing up, and I had been like sort of like bottom level person there, but they were like needing staff, and they were like, we're going to promote you. And I was like, shit, I don't want to do this. I want to try acting. It would have been a really nice job, and I would have obviously made some money and been happy because I do really love ILM. I love the Bay Area. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to give it a shot. And I moved to LA. Got lucky out the gate. Got a few commercials, which put a lot of money in my pocket. So I was able just to really buckle down and really just study acting. And then I just took it real seriously. I was doing Shakespeare. I was doing, Italian clowning. I was doing anything to get my hands on. Improv. I was working at the Groundlings. And then, I had agents and managers and all that kind of stuff. And then one of my agents one year just said, hey, dude, my friend's opening up an agency for voiceover. Do you want to do it? And I said, yeah, that could be kind of fun. Yeah. And so my agents, who's still currently my agents, my voiceover agents, they were with a big agency and they left to start their own place. And they're a fantastic agency, one of the best in the country for sure. Anyway, I met with them and I just said I really want to do this. I have no problem trying to do anything once. And I just did a bunch of crazy voices. That's kind of what I'm known for in terms of within the world of my voiceover agents, right? They'll send me like, hey, they need someone to play a piece of gum at the bottom of a desk. Could you come up with a voice for that? So I definitely am that guy to give that a shot. And so then I just, like I was telling you before we started, I've been there for 18, 19 years, just plugging away, got little things here and there. And then this last, right around pandemic, it just smashed, man. I got Devil May Cry. I got Invincible Fight Girl. And, my career in voiceover is taking off. And so I'm super stoked because I'd love for that to be part of my world. It's easily one of the most fun jobs to do. And it's I find it just as gratifying as being on camera. So that's kind of how I fell into both. I fell into both, literally.
Wow, okay. That's pretty interesting to think that you had a class and it was the wrong class, but you still took the opportunity and did the class and actually found your passion. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
here's the thing about that. And I love you that you use the word passion because it was doing that theater for the year at Long Beach State. I had an epiphany, and it's really hard for 24-year-olds to have an epiphanies, but I had one. And what it was I realized I was working we were doing the play and I was working pretty hard and everyone wanted to go home. And I just realized it was the first job I ever had where I didn't look at my watch. I didn't give a shit what time it was. I wanted to stay there and work till we were done working. I didn't want to go out to get drinks. I didn't want to go do anything else. I just wanted to get it right. And I realized, shit, that's something. If you ever have that experience in life where it's like, that's what I want to do. That's sort of what I chase. And I still to this day, because I'm not 25. And when I meet guys my age that are doing regular jobs, like I still have the attitude of a 25-year-old because I still love when I get an audition, man, I light up like a Christmas tree. No pun intended about our Christmas stuff, but I just get super excited and I get all these ideas and I just want to work on it and work on it. So yeah. That's my thing, man. I love it.
For sure. I'm glad you were able to do that because, man, to end up having a good job and still leave that job to pursue your passion, even knowing that it might not go the route you wanted to and still do it, I got to give you your props for that.
Yeah, no, look, there's people say, how can you, how do you, there's a lot of, it's not about talent. I mean, it is about talent for sure. I definitely have some talent. But it's also about an extreme amount of luck. And what I mean by luck is you're in the right place at the right time and you take advantage of that opportunity. And that's all that is, really. That's what I consider luck. And because I have plenty of friends who are very famous, who are not as talented as I am, but they were there. They took advantage of that luck, man. And that props to them, man. I love that. And I just hope to be continuing to do that. So that's part of what set up that whole opportunity for me.
I think they say was preparation meets opportunity. That's
100%
for luck. So.
100%.
For my next question, I want to ask. I said earlier, you're one of the few actors I have brought on that's done a lot of live action roles. I want to ask you, since I'm a very big fan of horror movies and stuff, how was it on the Friday the 13th series, and how did that come about?
So Friday the 13th, I forget which part. So
I think you were at a gas station attendant.
No. Yeah, I was gas station, or I worked at the convenience store that they stopped by.
Mhm.
So what ended up happening is a friend of mine, I don't know if you know the actress Jordana Brewster, she's in Fast and Furious. Her husband at the time was one of the producers of like all these Friday the 13th and all that. And he had sent a message over to my agent saying, hey, I think would Chris audition for this one role? And I auditioned for a different role. And then I didn't get that role. And he said, hey, would you be willing to do this other role? And I said, of course, man. So, because I just wanted to be part of that franchise. I just, it's such an iconic thing to be a part of. And when I got there, man, it was sort of at the end of filming. And at the end of filming, a crew sort of becomes really tight. The actors were really tight. That whole group of actors was like, they were not at all staying on script. They were improvising all over the place. And so that whole scene is pretty much improvised. And the only thing that really got me in was I'm able to make this fart sound with my mouth, which is, and I sort of do it in the movie, and it sort of shut them up. And it got them to where they were like, that fart sound ruined at least 4 or 5 takes because they just were cracking up. And it just became like and that's in the movie if you see it, because I'm like, my boss is a real. So it just became a thing in the film. And so, yeah, it was I loved being a part of that movie, man. Such a, and it's funny, man, when a movie like that, as an actor, when you're in a movie, I didn't know what day it was coming out, right? I was out having dinner with some friends, and all of a sudden, around 7:30, my phone starts blowing up. Ding, 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 ding. The movie had opened that night. And so I was getting messages from the East Coast. I was getting messages from Canada. I was getting everyone was just saying, I just saw you. I just saw you. I just saw you. And it's like,
that's amazing.
One of the best things, man, is being in a movie that's in the theaters, because it's just like, it's just the best, to go and see the theater, see the movie happening, and to know that many people go and see stuff. It's super exciting.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to kind of see what you've been working on actually be brought to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a lot of times 100%. You do a lot of things, but it seems like it's behind the scenes because you never really get to see that final outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you're just in these because if you look at my IMDb, I've done some movies that no one's heard of, right? And so some of those movies, they just never see the light of day, and they have really great people involved behind the scenes and on camera. It's just, sometimes it doesn't have the muscle or the money or the luck to roll out and people to find it. So especially nowadays when it's really hard for people to find movies, it's sort of the movie industry is going through that change right now where and it feels like people are starting to go back to the theater.
Yes.
To me. I'm super excited about Superman this weekend. If you've seen it, don't tell me anything. But I know how it's going to go, but I still want to see it. Anyhow, it's exciting to know that people are going back to the theaters, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Funny you bring that up. My little brother's been asking me to go take him to go see Superman this whole weekend, so I'm probably gonna end up going to see it myself. And It's funny, people are starting to go to the movie theaters a lot more now, but I also am gonna say I feel like the movie theaters are doing a lot more trying to get people to come in, because my personal movie theater now, they got like 3 days where it's discount days, so you can kind of come in and pay like $7 or $8. So I'm glad to start seeing them trying to bring more people in, because I'm tired of seeing them close down. Because man.
And that is the key right there. You're absolutely right what you said. They just need to lower prices. They're already sticking us with $8 Diet Coke and a $14 popcorn. So the least you could do is make it easy to get into the theater. And I think that some of the theaters I've seen out here, they sort of curate weekends of other stuff, like Braveheart's playing here right now, and it's just like a night. And right now, Jaws is playing a lot around town because it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws, and so I think that's a great idea to get people back into the theater. Also, we're gonna have it's Halloween. We're gonna have a week of really old, just classic horror films in the theater. Monday nights, Friday the 13th, Tuesday nights, Halloween, and they just sort of just crank them out. I think you could find people finding their jam and wanting to go to the movies more.
Yeah, and then I like the fact that a lot of them are remodeling and stuff like that, trying to keep up with the times and stuff.
Absolutely.
Wow.
No, I mean, reclined seats, the best thing in the world at the movie theater.
Man,
come on.
I also want to give you props for other roles you've done, such as Ted. I think that's amazing, and also Diary of a Wimpy Kid. These are
super
classic.
Proud of Wimpy Kid, by the way, and a lot of people held a lot of grudge to that movie because they were mad at the kids and the family change, but they had to because the kid grew up. And Jason, the kid who plays the Wimpy Kid, this is all coincidence, dude. I coached him for that audition, the actor. And then I coach him. He gets the part. The kid gets the part. And then a week later, I get a call. Hey, my agent calls me and goes, they want you to audition for this role, Beardo. And I'm like, oh. And I happened to talk to the kid's mom that day, Jason's mom. And she was telling me, what they were going to do with him. And when, and I was like, I'm so happy for him. I go, by the way, I got this role for Beardo. And she goes, oh my God, do it. Go audition. And so I auditioned and yeah, I got it. It's so weird. I got it, dude.
Wow,
so
that's
weird. I got
cool.
it. It's just a small world. And I'm super proud of that role. And I love that role. I kind of played it like Bluto from Popeye, just sort of a guy who can't really talk, but he's just angry and hates kids. And I actually talked to Jeff Kinney, the writer of Wimpy Kid. I had lunch with him on the first day I arrived on set. And I said, do you have any insight on Beardo? Do you have anything you could, give me to play as an actor? And he says, oh, no, he just hates fucking children. And I go, like, really? He goes, no. He would absolutely kill him if he got hold of him. I'm like, okay.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I'm going to play him like I'm going to kill him. And so that's sort of the attitude I took as I chased Jason around.
Wow, that's pretty dope. Especially the fact that you were teaching them, coaching them, and acting, and then got to be able to do a project with them.
So crazy, dude. So crazy. Yeah, it was great. I love that movie.
I definitely got to check that one out because I thought that was actually the second Diary of the Wimpy Kid. I didn't realize this was the one when they got a different kid in.
Yeah, and my daughter teases me all the time. Your Rotten Tomato score is horrible.
But I will agree with you. It probably mainly was because they changed the kid, because I couldn't see why it wouldn't do good. You know what I mean? Because it's a good book.
Yeah, the first one and the second one are pretty good. Actually, I actually like them. My daughter, I ended up watching them after I got the part. I mean, ours is a little more potty humor, and it's a little. I think it's geared toward like an age a little bit younger. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoy playing characters like that. The bad guy who wants to kill people. It's absolutely. And then you get to do a little wink in it, and he doesn't really want to kill people, but it's good stuff.
Well, my next question I want to ask you, basically, one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you on was to talk about your experience working on Devil May Cry. What was it like stepping into the role of Enzo? And do you find any personal connections to this character?
Yeah, I do. Personal connections. I love that Enzo is, to me, he's the brains of the operation. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone thinks when they're an actor, they think that it's their show, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of an ego attitude toward it. But I think, when I got the role, I didn't know much about the video game. And then I did a little bit of research. And then as I worked with Johnny a couple times, the first couple of episodes, and I just, it's funny that audition, there's certain auditions, this doesn't happen a lot, but there's certain auditions that you just know what to do. You just know what to do. You don't think about the entrances or the exits or what kind of voice it is, or should I yell here or should I cry? I just knew Enzo talk like this. And I just threw down the audition, and then it was just on like Donkey Kong. It just happened. And that's sort of like, he just came out. I just sent it. I didn't, there's never any expectation that you're going to book something. You want every role, obviously, and you try your hardest. But that one I just threw out and did. And I'm praying, hoping they bring him back somehow. It's Devil May Cry, so maybe they can find a way to figure out. But when I saw that I was dying, I literally in the booth, some of the people were in Korea. I'm in the booth and they said, okay, Chris, we're going to do your dying scene now. And I'm like, oh no, fuck you. I'm not doing that. I just walked out. They just started cracking up. I came back and I'm like, oh, come on, man. You don't want to kill me. Come on. You got to keep me alive. I'm the heart and soul of this thing. So that's how I see Enzo, man. I see him as, there's a lot of humor in that show. I love that about the show. I love that that everybody's, sort of got like a wisecracking personality. Even the demons have some funny things to say. But I think Enzo's one of the only friends that Dante has, and one of the only people that truly has Dante's back. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I think there's other characters that care about him, but I think Enzo's not smart enough to trick anyone. And so ultimately, I think Dante also knows that about him, that he ultimately is one of the most trusting people he knew. So hopefully they'll figure out a way to bring me back, because I'm loving being a part of it.
For sure. I know that had to hurt, seeing that, be like, man, I gotta die. Like, I
The worst, dude.
move this a second.
Plus, when you do dying scenes on voiceovers, when you're doing dying scenes, it sort of sounds like maybe it's a porn also, like a lot of there's a lot of all that kind of weird shit. So it's it's a lot of moaning.
All I would say is, if I had a dying scene, I would want it to be one of the most epic. I want it to be like crazy way to die. I don't want no like easy.
I died great, dude. I got stabbed through the back of the. I mean, I was like, fucking Enzo got pierced.
For my next question, I want to ask you, what do you find most rewarding and least rewarding about being an actor?
Oh gosh, most rewarding is, hearing that someone saw something and really connected to it, right? And really liked it, right? I mean, that is one of the reasons I think I became an actor, was like one of the things that really solidified it for me. I was in a hospital and I was walking by a room and I heard a bunch of people laughing, and I looked in, they were watching a Chris Farley movie. And I realized that a lot of those patients had cancer. And I thought, what a cool profession, man. Because for those 2 hours, those people were not sick, right? They were watching that movie and they were digging it. And that sort of, to me, is the ultimate. If you could give that to someone and just help them escape, whether it's a shitty job or whether they're just having a bad time, they don't have to have cancer, but it just could be like, you just help people escape. So that's one of the most gratifying things about it. And also the relationships I make. There's so many people behind the scenes, and I've done movies in Italy, and I have friends because of that, right? I have friends that are Italian that I'm really close with, and when I've gone there, they've taken care of me. I've had friends in New York that I never would have known, right? They were just of different backgrounds. Friends in just about I've done movies in a lot of states, and so in those states are just new people I've gotten to meet, and people that maybe I wouldn't have talked to, that I've gotten to just get to know. And that's easily the best part. The worst part about being an actor is the obvious. It's the getting your hopes up that you're going to get something. I was recently up for something, and you can't help but go through your head, how could they not want me? I'm easily but you know what? Someone once said, and it's true, it's not the best actor that gets the part, it's the right actor, right? So all I can do is continue, and I know this because I'm still in the business, that I'm always like within the top 2 or 3 choices, and I just gotta hope that I'm the right one. But sometimes that can get exhausting to not get the part. That's probably the worst part about it. But the positives outweigh the negatives for sure.
For sure. And the fact that you talk about basically acting being something that can kind of take people's mind off of what they're going through, that is something that has always made me appreciate comedy and comedians, because I always appreciate the fact that being able to make people laugh through their pain and stuff like that.
Yeah. I just recently heard that, I don't know how true it is because it was on social media, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'd heard that Jack Black donates about $100 million to children's hospitals, and then goes to those hospitals and makes those kids laugh, and that is something that I would hope to get to that point where I can, be successful enough where I can go do something like that. Cause that's just, I mean, the money's great. The fame is cool. None of that really matters in the sense of the larger scheme of things, I guess. And so that would be just way more fun, just bringing some sunshine to people. So as corny as that sounds, it's true.
I think that's amazing if Jack Black does that, especially for the fact that he does a lot of characters like Poe, and then you got Browser from the Mario Kart to come and stuff. I also think Jack Black is an amazing actor. It seems 100%. Like every role he throws himself into, even if you think, okay, I can't see him.
Dude, Jumanji, he's great.
He kills it.
Kills Jumanji. Remember, he's playing a girl. And he does that. And I got to say, man, I had no expectations from Minecraft, right? Because of the nuttiness that was, ensuing it, right? And I went about 3 weeks after it was open. And I got to say, I had a good time, man. I mean, I knew what it was going to be. If you're going into a movie like Minecraft and you're expecting it to be Schindler's List, you're bonkers, dude. Like, sorry, but if you're bringing that mindset to it, like you're going to judge it on some... It's a video game, dude. Go in, grab some popcorn, get your favorite snacks, sit down for an hour and a half, and laugh your ass off and have a good time. And that it's that's I think he's great in everything he does, man. I love Jack.
Yes, he's pretty much phenomenal. I was just talking about him in another episode I was doing, and was saying he's probably one of my favorite actors to voice actors, because I say he's almost on the same level as your Robin Williams, who can
100%.
go in the booth and just kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
For my next question, earlier we were talking about our favorite Christmas movies and stuff like that.
Sure.
I just want to bring it focus and basically talk about The Polar Express, one of the best Christmas classics. Basically, how does it feel to be a part of that special movie, and how do you feel about the character you played? And do you watch it every year?
It's funny is my daughter doesn't care about it. Which is fine. I do watch it because it's nostalgic for me, obviously in the sense of any viewer, but also the experience was, there's only a few times this happens if you're lucky enough to be an actor and then you're lucky enough to work a lot. It only happens in a few movies, and this was definitely one of them. The experience of making that movie was, my first day in, like I said, you're wearing the wetsuit sort of thing. You got the dots over you, and there's Tom Hanks, and Tom knows he's Tom, right? Tom is fully aware that he is one of the most famous people on the planet, and he's so good at neutralizing that, especially in a work situation, right? Because he knows I'm going to have to work with him, right? And so I'm going to need to feel comfortable. Now, remember, he's still Michael Jordan in terms of his skill set, right? He's still gonna back me up and dunk on me if he has to. But he's also knows that he needs me to bring my best game, right? So in order for me to play my best, I need to be relaxed. In order for me to be relaxed, he knows I need to meet Tom Hanks on the same level. And so he comes up to you, he says, "Hey man, Tom Hanks." Of course I know it's you. You're Chris, right? So he does that research too. He goes over the call sheet, knows who's going to meet. And then he says, "Hey man, can we get some pictures together?" Like he needs to take pictures with me. He takes a bunch of pictures and he goes, "That's so great. So great. Hey, I got to go, but I'll see you outside on the set." And he did exactly what he needed to do. He neutralized me, made me feel comfortable, made me feel like Tom Hanks. And then I was able to, play with him at maximum level for me, gave me the confidence to improvise around him, do some stuff that I maybe normally wouldn't have done if he was acting like a diva. In terms of playing the Toothless boy, I absolutely, I'm super proud of him. He doesn't have a lot of lines. I think the only thing he really says is elves. And, in the movie, again, we shot mocap. There was a lot of moments in there that obviously, look, the movie's about Tom. And so it's gonna focus around him. I wasn't ever, I had no disillusions about who I was in that movie. I just knew I was one of the kids, and it's such an honor to be a part of it. If I ever forget about it. It's sure to remind me around November. And then because of the relationships I made in that movie, I ended up doing Beowulf, which is also a Bob Zemeckis movie, also a mocap movie. And Bob's people called me, I don't know, a few years after Beowulf. They did Monster House after Beowulf, which I was not a part of. And then they did, because Bob originally had a slate of like, he ended up doing Polar, he ended up doing Monster House, he ended up doing Beowulf, and then he did Christmas Carol. And then he stopped doing, he was going to do a bunch. I think he was going to do a couple more. But they just called me and said, hey, can you do a British accent? I said, I can. And so all of a sudden I found myself on the set of Beowulf, working with, Anthony Hopkins and Ray Winston and John Malkovich and Robin Wright Penn. And I mean, a whole Crispin Glover. I mean, it was a crazy ass set. Brendan Gleeson. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Man, I gotta remember. For some reason, I was thinking that had
and that character they modeled after me. So the character I play, Olaf, in Beowulf. And what's a funny story about Olaf? Sometimes I would go Beowulf and Polar Express were filmed at a place called Culver Studios in Culver City. It's this little unique little place to film, right? It's just this little boutique sort of studio. And I'd go every now and then from auditions, I'd stop at the Starbucks right next to it, across the street. And one day I'm in the Starbucks line and there's like 6 men staring at me. They're just like looking at me, and I'm like, I'm making my order and I'm like, oh, these guys must be some weirdos that recognize me from something. So I go, I'm waiting for my drink, and then one of them gets the courage to come up and goes, hey man, we're working on Beowulf and we're animating your face. We're working on your character right now. And I'm like, oh my God, I was wondering why you guys, so all 6 of them were like working on my face. And they were like, do you mind if we take a couple more photos of you? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we took some pictures, and they were just like watching my nose, like how it moved, watching my jaw and seeing how it moved, because they were like animating my whole face. It was crazy.
Wow, that's a lot. I didn't know they go that deep into it and stuff like that.
They go very deep. They go very deep.
When you were talking about Beowulf, that's the same movie Angelina Jolie was in, right?
I met Angelina Jolie. I didn't. She stuck me to the ceiling.
Because I remember that was one of the few movies I watched with my grandpa. That was one of his favorite movies. That was funny.
It's funny. It depends on where you grew up. You either read it or you didn't read it. Like half the country read it, the other half didn't read it.
I never read it.
I didn't read it either. I didn't read it. When I got the part, I quickly tried to read it.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, because I thought this was interesting when I was looking at your IMDb. It says you have an uncredited role in Spider-Man movie, in the Spider-Man movie.
I do.
Can you explain that? What happened?
Yeah. So I was cut out of that. Basically, I was cut out of Spider-Man. I was edited out. I didn't. I got this role. What's really funny about it is, what was the role called? Like the eating man or something like. I was basically like eating hot dogs. Well, the Hollywood Reporter thought I was a new villain, and it was like Eating Man. Chris Coppola's cast as Eating Man. I'm like, oh no, dude, no. I'm literally a guy eating fucking hot dogs, dude. And it was hilarious. And it was like, I wasn't gonna go through the trouble of like correcting them. I was just like, whatever. They're just being.
You never know. Spider-Man 2 could be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, no, it got. I was in the scene I was in was, when Spider-Man, when Toby wrestles Randy Savage.
Yes.
At the beginning, or the first time he's sort of like trying to be Spider-Man. Anyway, I was in that scene, and they just wanted me. So they were so pissed at me. They just wanted me to eat a hot dog, and I'm a heavy set dude. So they just wanted me like to shove a hot dog in my face and like look like a fat guy eating a hot dog. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to do that. I'm just thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to do that. So when it got to me, and there's like 300 extras, like they have built that, arena, and Randy Savage is in there, and Tobey Maguire is standing there, and they're like, they put the camera on me. They're like, we got one take for you, bud. So shove the hot dog in your mouth, and then we'll be done with you. So it get to me and they go action. I improvise like a bunch of shit like, get him, Spider-Man. You got to kick his ass. Come on, take that. And I went on for about a minute. And the first assistant director, right? That's the person who usually says action and cut, right? The director barely does that. And the first assistant director runs the set. He's looking at me like this. He's so pissed at me, dude. He's so pissed at me. Anyway, I get done. He goes, cut. The whole place applauds me, right? All the fans and Tobey Maguire and Randy Savage go like this. I knew I was getting cut. But I just it was sort of like that, leap of like quitting my job and like going to be an actor. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to take a chance. And so I took a chance and they cut it out. But here's the thing about getting cut out of a movie. I still get residuals. So I still get paid from Spider-Man.
Oh, that's amazing. Is it because you got a credited role type of thing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the union says he's in, it's not his fault. It is my fault in this case, but you paid him to be in the movie. So you got to pay him to be in the movie. So I still get look, it's like $7, but it's still $7.
You know what I mean? That $7 can get you a coffee that day.
There you go.
I mean?
Exactly.
If you weren't doing acting, what do you think you'll be doing?
Probably. Oh God, it would be some sort of teaching. I think I really like. It's funny, that my acting teacher used to say, the only other people that want to be actors are lawyers and preachers and anyone who likes to stand in front of people and talk. So I definitely have that gift. I mean, before that acting thing happened to me at college, I was also, being a speech major, and my speeches were very elaborate. And so that was another reason I sort of went into as I found acting. So I think it probably would have been something along if I was smart enough, I'd have been a doctor because I love cutting shit up and like seeing what's going on. Like I'm okay with blood, but I'm definitely, you don't want me cutting you up. I mean, I'll kill you for sure. Yeah, not a doctor. I wish I could be one. Probably a teacher.
I feel you on that one. If I was a lot smarter and wasn't afraid of blood, I'd probably be a doctor myself too.
Maybe a marine biologist. I don't know. I love the ocean. I have a scuba license. I could see getting in the ocean and going and I'm not afraid of that stuff. I don't mind the depths of the sea. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm more of a top of the ocean type of person. I always think about all that stuff that could be underneath, and the fact that you probably can run into something and be like, "Oh my God, what is this?"
It's funny. I don't surf as much as I used to, but when I was surfing once, I was in the water and I was on a wave, right? Mm-hmm. And a seal was in the wave with me, and a seal's like 8 feet long, like 6 feet long. They're big animals, man. They're big animals, and I was thinking, dude, it scared the shit out of me first because it's dark, right? So you don't know what it is at first. You're just like, there's a really dark, big thing following me. And so as I got out, and I crashed, I got out, I got on my board, it popped up, and I was like, dude, the thing of it is like, if that thing wanted to mess me up,
it could.
We're so slow in the water, right? Like if I was fast in the water, it's another whole thing, game on. But like he could like be behind me in a second, like biting the back of my head, and it's just like that's not cool, man. It's not cool, seal. Just stay where you are.
And the fact that you got to see what it was. My whole mindset, it was a shark. As soon as I see anything black, it was a shark. I would have had the speed of anything to get out of that water, man.
Yeah.
Whew, I wouldn't even been able to look back and see it was a seal. Somebody,
no, even though he had that stupid seal smile on his face, I was still scared. It wasn't like, I was like, okay, it's a seal. It's a seal. It's a seal. I'm okay. They don't attack people. I mean, he can. I mean, they eat fish, dude. They have like real teeth. They're not like, they're not sucking on like sea urchins. They like eat shit.
And if I remember correct, they are. No, I think it's sea lions. They be attacking.
Oh yeah, no, sea lions another whole thing. That thing's like 13 feet long. It's like 2 tons. That would just take you to that thing would just grab you, pull you down, and pop your lungs.
Oh man. And I heard what they do to penguins is horrible.
I did a commercial with penguins, man. I did a Planters Peanut commercial. Oh. I went to South Africa. It was super cool.
Oh, that's amazing. For just a commercial?
It was cheaper to fly I shot 2 commercials of Planters Peanuts in Africa. We did one because if you think about South Africa, it's on the tip of Africa, right? And it's closest to Antarctica, right? And that's where the penguins are. So it was like a penguin rescue, and I got to go into the habitat the day before filming, and they're like, "Don't worry, they're not going to hurt you, but we need them to get used to you." So penguins have they're monogamous, right? So they're like always traveling. There's a man and a woman, right? And they all stopped when they saw me. I was like sitting on fake ice, and then they slowly surround me, and then like one hops up on my thigh and like pecks me, like, because they don't have hands. They're like sort of try me, and like and then all of a sudden, dude, I must have had 40 penguins surrounding me, dude, and I was like, okay, don't get nervous. But once I chilled, then after about 5 minutes, they just were like, I was like just some giant fat penguin hanging out with them, man. It was just like super cool. And then the second half of the trip, I worked in like the bush, and I filmed a commercial with a giraffe. And
wow,
that was crazy.
Okay.
But the coolest animal I saw in Africa was the dung beetle. I saw him rolling a big piece of poop. It was fascinating.
Wow. See, that's one thing I know about Africa is you're going to see a whole bunch of animals that you never thought you'd probably see. And mine would probably be like a lion or a tiger, or really anacondas, because them starting to be one of the animals that I'm afraid of.
Yeah, dude, snake, that's another whole thing. That's a giant snake that could eat a person.
Man.
Yeah, don't mess around. I mean, we were supposed to be talking about animation. Now we're talking about penguins and anacondas.
You never know where this conversation is going to take us, But we are winding down to our last 3 questions.
Right on.
For my next question, I want to ask you, what emotion do you find hard to portray with just your voice?
That's a great question, man. I love that question. I would say concern. Like parental concern, right? Concern, caring, compassion. Those kind of things are really hard to do just in a line. There's if you have a nice lead up to it, the scene is a little chunky in that it's got some length, and you're able to then it sort of helps you get into that moment. But if I'm playing someone who's maybe a mentor, a father or an uncle, or a king, or someone who's got that position of seniority, that would be the thing, is that concern. That one's really hard to do. Being silly is easy, being angry is easy, being scary is easy. And there's some, I'm sure you've had some people on, those voiceover actors who just do voice, and there are some incredibly talented people that I've had the fortunate experience of running into. I once went to an audition, and sometimes voiceovers will be like regular audition where you all go there. And I think it was for Family Guy, or I think it was for Family Guy I was auditioning for. And there was a big group of VO guys, and I knew one of the guys. And so I was talking to him. I didn't know the other 9 guys. And one of the guy goes, Chris, do you know what these guys do? And I go, no, what do they do? He goes, they're the guys that are in Transformers. I go, okay, what do you mean? Like the voices? They go, no, these guys do robot sounds. Show them. And do these guys, those guys make all that dude. It's like seriously. I mean, it was incredible. It wasn't like stuff that humans make those sounds. I was just like, oh my God. So there are some voiceover people, like those guys don't do a lot of, that's what they do. They make those sounds, man. They just make those weird robot sounds that were in Transformers that are so organic. And I think that's what they wanted right in the movie, if you think about it, because those robots are alive, right? They're organic, things. And so why make, now they're going to make AI do it, but it's going to miss that thing that those guys have. Those guys have that sort of, that humanistic sound somehow is in there, and it's like a heartbeat to it. But yeah, there are some amazingly talented voiceover people. I just do some weird sounds, nowhere near that, but I can get into some interesting stuff. So yeah, but I would say concern.
Yeah, okay. That's the first time I've heard concern, but that's right. You know, you do have a lot of voice actors come in and do sounds and stuff. Because I always talk about, if you watch Pokemon, you have a lot of Pokemons in the background that just say their names and stuff like that. And it took me a while to realize those were people who were actually sitting down and recording that. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I once did a partner read with one of the women at my voiceover when I used to go into my agents, and sometimes I had to read with another actor. And this girl, I mean, she was pretty, nothing special. She opened her voice. I literally, it was like a princess. And I said to her after we were in the elevator going down, I go, your voice is incredible. How do you do that? And she goes, it's just, I just move it up an octave and I do it. And she showed me and I was like, it's I mean, your voice is like, it's stunning. Like and there's just some people that are just, she goes, all I do is voiceover. And she goes, I looked at your credits. You do all on camera. And I wish I was doing on camera. And I'm like, I wish I was doing voiceover too. But she goes, yeah, no, I make a nice living doing this. But her voice is incredible. Was incredible.
Well, my next question I want to ask you, if there's anybody you want to shout out for being a good support system for you over the years that has helped you get to where you're at.
Oh God, that's a great question, and I've had some dark people in my life. Unfortunately, some unfortunate people, but I would definitely say that if we're on a voiceover podcast, I'm going to say my agents, the people over at Imperium 7, Marnie and Steven and Billy, have been instrumental in always keeping me going in terms of my keeping my enthusiasm up and me wanting to keep going. I'm not exaggerating about that many years of just sort of chugging along and wondering what I'm doing this for, because it would be really easy to turn away from, I'm not going to do this one. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. And so the fact that they've always just believed in me and keep sending me stuff and still believe that I'm going to find, my SpongeBob or my really big hit show, where I'm able to, what people are saying, that's Chris Coppola. He voices Enzo, where it's that sort of opportunity and that they still believe in me. And obviously my family, they see the struggles that actors go through, and it's, it's not that it's not struggle like working in a coal mine or having a serious job or working 3 jobs to make ends meet by any stretch. So I know how lucky I am. But yeah, my family and my agents have been fantastic.
Okay, gotta shout them out and giving them props for helping you stay in the mindset to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sometimes you can get discouraged and want to get out of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have success in a different part of acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my next question I want to ask you is basically, what do you feel is left for you to do in voice acting? What else would you want to do?
Just consistency, really. Just get really, just to have a few shows that I'm doing regularly. Hopefully Addy finds it in his heart to bring back Enzo, for instance, or find another show. Obviously, I'm auditioning quite a bit for stuff, so just getting another show and just being recognized for that show. That's the voice of, and obviously you get into voiceover, you can't help but dream about those iconic shows. You know what I mean? Those shows that are like just massive. And so that would be nice to be there's still that to chase, and so I'm chasing that for sure.
Okay. And for my last bonus question, I ask this to everybody, and you probably get asked this a lot. But what is your advice for people that wants to get into acting or voice acting? What's something that you feel like is the simplest thing they can do to help them get into acting?
First is that thing I mentioned earlier, the courage, right? So I think everyone thinks about, hey, I can do this. And it's not the things that you think are the hardest, right? The lines, memorizing lines is not that hard. Any idiot can do that, but it really comes down to you have to love this. I mean, I love this so much, and I think that it's such a blessing that I came to it later in life, and I wasn't doing it at 11 and 12, and I wasn't doing it in high school, and then even at the end of college, and even that is just me getting the intro to it. I really started doing this in my mid 20s, and I think that benefits me I still have that, and so. When people ask me, should I get into this? Hell yeah, you should. I mean, the business is evolving. And so the greatest thing about the business is now it's really, you could pick up a phone and shoot, and you can make stuff. And you could, obviously there's plenty of influencers that are doing, character-y stuff and trying to get on, to find their way into acting that way. And I applaud them and think that that's a good idea. But ultimately if you want to put yourself through this, because it is a lot of heartbreak. It is. I mean, I got rejected twice this week, right? And you can't help but dream about getting the part, because that's what they tell you in things like law of attraction and stuff like that. Oh, you got to think positive, you got to want it, you got to pretend you already have it, all that kind of stuff. And I do that stuff, but sometimes it's you're not the right person, like I said. And so but I'm used to the rejection, and you just gotta you gotta love it, because like, for instance, I got these here. And I absolutely am so excited to go do those in the next 24 hours. And I love it so much. So it would be love. And there would also be dedication, a commitment to it. And to really, because it's not easy, man. Being a creative is not easy. You are your boss. You know what I mean? You've got to, like, I'm writing a script right now. There's no one telling me to get up and write. Right? There's no boss that says, you got to have 5 pages done today. No, I mean, I wrote 3 pages today. And that's huge, man. That's huge in a script, right? And I'm not trying to write all 100 pages, but I got 3 done. And I got 3 done the day before and 3 done the day. So that's 9 pages this week. That's pretty good, man. And so if I could do that again and again and again, but that's all self-motivated. So self-motivated. I always say athletes make good actors, because they know that work habit of getting up at 5 to go run, or getting in a pool to go swim, or throwing a football 100 times, or shooting a basketball 100 times. And in terms of voiceover, listen, if you have a unique voice, a high squeaky voice, a deep baritone voice, or you can make a lot of sounds, that's great. But you do need some acting ability, right? You need to be able to read a script and see the joke, or see what the scene is about. And so if you have that interesting voice and you want to get into it, I say go do a voiceover workshop. That's what my agents used to say. Go do one of those 3-day workshops. Those are definitely, don't do them all the time, but I think they're like $200 to $400. They pay. You get to meet a voiceover casting director. They see your range and they help you with that. And so that sort of gets you into the game a little bit. They'll see your talent. And then also, take an acting class or 2. If you just want to get into voiceover, just do it. There's Zoom acting classes now. I don't agree with those, because I feel like you got to be in person to do acting. And I think, the hardest thing about the art form of acting is it's not like guitar or painting or anything like that, because those things you could do on your own. You could I know a couple of very famous guitar players, and they're like, yeah, man, I just locked myself in my garage for 4 years and played. And then I just, I just got good. Any musician will tell you that, right? Whether it's a rapper, a drummer, whatever it is. They're like, I just put that dedication in and went for it. But it can be really solo, right? You could do it solo for a while. Acting, you need the pressure of people watching you, right? And that's because you need to feel that juice of, oh God, they're judging me. Oh God, do they like it? Oh God, do they think I'm funny? Oh God, do they think I'm being serious now? And so that's what makes acting one of the harder art forms, in my opinion, is because you can read every book about it, but you can't just say you're an actor. You have to sort of experience an audience. It's like stand-up. Stand-up's the same way. If you want to be a stand-up, you could be as funny as hell at your Thanksgiving or at a funeral. That's one thing, but it's like another thing to go and stand in front of people at a coffee shop or wherever and try to be funny for 5 minutes. It's hard as hell.
Yes, to me, I consider one of the hardest professions
Oh.
to do because, man, it's nothing backing you up. You literally are just you and yourself.
And you're gonna fall on your face, man. You're gonna, because it's just. I have a couple of friends who wanted. I almost got into stand up, but I just didn't like the hours. I didn't like going to a club and being there till 3 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. And I just didn't like, because you end up drinking a lot, you end up smoking a lot, you end up just hanging out a lot, and that just didn't. I wanted to be a different kind of performer. I just wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be like, De Niro or Denzel or one of Meryl Streep. I wanted to be a great actor, and then I wanted to be like Robin Williams. So just sort of a combination of all those great kind of people. So that's sort of what I'm chasing. That's my carrot.
Okay. And with that, we end today's episode. I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to discuss or bring up.
No, I'm all good. I got nothing to plug but love and life, man. That's it, man. Just everyone have a great weekend, and it's so great to talk to you. And yeah, that's it. I've been watching your hat the whole time. We're a month away from football starting, so let's get there, baby.
Man, I can't wait. The funny thing,
can't wait, man.
It's not even my team. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but
I
have so many hats from different teams and stuff.
The Steelers are going to be they're going to be good this year. You wait and see, man.
I hope so.
I think it's
last
a year
was
a year after that that injury, Rodgers is going to be decent. He's not going to be great, but he's going to be better than he was last year.
Yeah. Only thing, I just hope we get another receiver for our team.
Yeah.
I like DK Metcalf, but I just feel like we need another guy. We had George Pickens, but he was a little interesting.
He's a little nuts, yeah.
And with that, we end today's episode. I want to thank my guests for coming on and chatting it up with me. I had a lot of fun and learned so much more about the industry of voice acting. And hopefully you listeners did too. Before we close out, I just want to allow my guests the opportunity to plug themselves, basically tell the audience where they can find you.
You can find me on Netflix right now. Devil May Cry. I play Enzo. I've also got a great episode on Ted. I think that's on Paramount TV. I'm also on Barry, on Max. And then I'm on a TV show on Amazon Prime called Too Old to Die Young. It's okay. But I'm still on there and I'm doing my thing. And I'm also on season 4 of Ray Donovan. You can see me on there as well. And Wimpy Kid, Long Haul. I mean, I got a lot of credits, but yeah.
You want to plug your social media where they can find you? If they have any
you can find me. Geez, that's where I'm horrible, right? Let me plug my social media. Let me. I think it's C Coppola at C Coppola 9. I'm not a 10. I'm a 9. What happened when my Instagram got hacked about a year ago? It's like everything went away, and so I basically started from scratch. So yeah, hit me up on that, friend me, and I'll definitely talk to you if you want to talk.
For sure. So if you guys got any questions or anything, I'll have all this links and stuff below. And with that, I just want to say, peace.